Today we'll see how personal interview is conducted at SSB. A personal interview is also called the president's interview and it is conducted by the senior most officer of the SSB board. It is conducted by a colonel or a brigadier rank officer and the duration of this interview is about 45 minutes. During this interview they ask following types of questions: daily routine, your work and education related, family background related. Then they ask solution for few social problems, your hobbies. They go into details, extracurricular activities, general awareness, and organizing skills for a task. So these are the main categories, and you should be prepared for such questions. Now, why this interview is conducted? Firstly, interviewing officer cross checks your personality with inputs of PIQ, SDT, and GTO and psychologists. He is looking for latent leadership inside you, your ability to speak out and express yourself well. I've been saying time and again in all my videos that key to success in SSB is your ability to speak well. Then he is also trying to check your capability to think instant solutions for lesser known situations. Because during war or army life or armed services life, you'll come across many such situations almost on a daily basis, and you have to come out with something innovative. This is very essential to safeguard the national interest as also to save the lives of men whom you are going to command. Then they further check your convincing abilities, because as a leader, as an army officer or air force officer, you need to convince people, you need to convince your troops about a task, maybe attack on a place, or you need to speak to civil population on certain things. So you have to have a good communication and convincing abilities. And of course, they are also looking for how clever you are to tackle the issue, and this is a desired quality. You should be clever, but you should not be bluffing or telling lies. Cleverness is required, because if you are clever, then you will be able to save your men, and you should be able to come out of a bad situation. So these are the things which interviewing officer is looking for. And for this, the questions will be asked as I told you before, from your background, education, family details, and curricular activities, general knowledge. Then some questions related to social problems and organizing skills. Now, if you see the distribution of marks, personal interview carries a very big chunk, 225 marks, and you have to do well in this interview. I mean, doing well on other parts is okay, but here this is the Waterloo. Now, certain do's and don'ts. Firstly, when you enter the president's office, don't put your hands in pocket. I mean, go casually. Then avoid wearing costly watches, gold rings, and religious threads, etc. And have a proper haircut and shave, and have your hairs combed well, and don't shake your legs or fold your hands while speaking. Then important tips. Firstly, listen to the question very carefully and give detailed answer. Now, many a times what happens that we practice so much for the interview that we actually conceive certain questions that okay, he is asking me this, whereas the interviewing officer may be meaning something else. So you have to listen the question carefully and give the detailed answer. Your answer should not be in yes, no, or one line type. They should be detailed answer. This I'll explain you in subsequent slides. And these detailed answers you have to follow for all the questions. Try to speak as much as possible. In case you don't know the answer, so don't say instantly that I don't know. Think a while, try to give, then you say, sir, sorry, actually, I think I may not be able to answer your question completely. And in case you didn't understand the question, then you say, sir, kindly, could you please repeat the question? So this is how you should tackle the interview. I mean, rather than going with a closed mind that whatever he is asking has to be replied, or you can't, ask clarifications. It is actually two-way communication. He is asking you question, and you also have to speak to him and converse with him with a free mind. Now, the interviewing officer is like X-ray machine. He is not carrying X-ray machine, but with his experience, because every day he is seeing his troops. He is commanding about 1,000 odd plus men. He is interacting with many of his subordinates. So when he sees a person in front of him, he is able to, immediately make a image. He'll understand your strong areas, and your strong areas questions are not going to be much, but he'll definitely identify your weak areas, and there are going to be many questions on your weak areas. Like I told you that in the first slide, that types of questions asked. So it is not hard and fast that these questions are only going to be asked, or only a few questions are going to be asked. He will home on to your weakness, and then he'll try to dig you out. So, and you to, and whatever you are. So you can't actually hide this thing. But if you speak well and tackle well the situation, then you are through. There's the key for this interview, or for any other interview for that matter. So don't bluff the interviewer and be honest. Sometimes, we think that SSB is looking for some Spider-Mans and Supermans, and we try to make a very bloated profile in PIQ and SDT form. Keep the form honest and of average profile, and you justify that during the interview. Whatever you are on papers, you have to justify in front of interviewing officer. If you say that you are a Superman, you will be asked questions like a Superman. But if you portray yourself as a average person, then you will be asked questions accordingly. So long as you meet the leadership requirements, you will be through. Then one more thing in the question they ask, he'll try to find out many weaknesses in you, and he'll ask you that who is responsible. So never say that that so and so is responsible or this thing. You say, sir, it is my fault. I am responsible. As a leader, assume the responsibility. Don't say that my parents were responsible or my teachers were responsible. So this is one important tip. Then I shown you the types of questions. Now these questions are asked in a different ways. So first set is calm down questions. So in this a normal introduction is done, and the candidate is actually brought to ease. How are you? How was the food? Where are you coming from? And such like questions, so that you both become friends actually. So once this calm down questions, they establish a kind of friendship link between you and interviewing officer. Then the usual questions start. Now in usual question there are two types. One is rapid fire, and other ones are stress questions. So rapid fire questions are basically from your background, and these questions are asked in a very quick succession. You don't have time to think, or you will not be able to think that I have written this, that and all. You have to quickly answer. And there are going to be different questions, many different questions. Some are from hobbies, some are from background and education and all kind of things. Now in a stress question, he'll ask you about a topic, and then he'll go down and down and down up to the grassroots level of that topic. He'll grill you. We'll cover the example of this. Then they also ask you about a social problem or your solution on these problems, suggested solution, what you feel as a citizen of India about these problems. Then there may be some technical questions or application knowledge type questions. And if they're asking technical question and application knowledge type question, that means you are a borderline case. And if the stress questions are also too many or too detailed, that means he's trying to ascertain you, he's trying to gauge you, he's trying to bring the truth out of you. So these are the 4 categories, but don't worry about these categories. Prepare yourself well and speak well. And I'm time and again saying speaking. Speaking is the key to the success at SSB interview. Now let's see the examples. Calm down questions. So which place you are coming from? Tell something about the place. Tell something about your name. Why your name is so. Like my name is Deepak. So there may be question that what is the meaning of Deepak? Why you name, this thing, like this, how you feel about your name. Then 5 things about your native place and what you like most. So like that, he is trying to establish a friendly link between you and him. So these are called calm down questions. Then educational background related. That you can read the questions, how much you scored. Then if there's a decrease in the marks, then why this decrease, and what difficulty you faced, which subject you like more and why. Then what is the specialty of your school or college you studied. Now how to answer these questions? Like first question, which place you are coming from. So don't say that I am from Chennai or I am coming from Chennai. Give a detailed answer. That sir, I am from Chennai. It's a northern district and coastal city of Tamil Nadu, which is also a state capital, and population of Chennai is about so much, and main occupation of people are this, and the specialty is maybe silk and tourism. And the most special thing about Chennai is it has officers training academy. So try to include something military in your answers, and the answer should be in detail. I have just given few lines here, but you can also include the climatic conditions and the famous tourist places, railway stations, flights, your international stations, airports, and many things you can. You can speak and speak and speak on this topic, and try to do this. Unless he stops you, okay. Don't give one line answer and then he start digging you more. That okay, what else? No, your first answer should be so much in detail that he says, okay, very good. That's how your interview should be. Then rapid fire questions will be based on mostly details provided in PIQ and SDT. So these are on educational background, then views about your parents, teachers, and whatever you write in SDT, your hobbies and interests, extracurricular activities. And these questions will be asked in quick succession, that one after other they will be asked, because you are now become friends in first this thing. So he is asking you. He is without knowing you, he is trying to dig you out. Then about the educational background, that which teacher you didn't like and why. Then next could be particular branch of study, why you chosen this, was it a compulsion by parents, Then friends and teachers, what they think about you. Then how you think about your friends and teachers. So like that. Because what happens is that when you give PDT and your SDT and he gets inputs and also, so it's like a good advertisement. You are a good advertisement for him that Mr. XYZ candidate for SSB, chest number so and is a very good material. That's what actually inputs he has. But he is not trying to cross check. Like when you go to market and buy a watch. So what do? You will read the advertisement and then you verify it in the shop that how the watch is looking like. Is it too small or too big, or what all features it has, or are the features working properly? So in a similar way, he is trying to correlate your personality on papers to your actual personality. So family background questions: how much pocket money you got during college days, how you are utilizing it, then how you are helping your mother during your holidays. So give the answer that sir, during my holidays uh, I'll ask my mother if there's any work. She'll usually tell me that please go and buy vegetables A, B, C, and she'll give me money. I go to market and bring the vegetables. Then again I ask my mother that mom, anything else you want me to do? So she might tell me, okay, get some water from RO shop, or in the evening go and bring the milk from so and so shop. And then I might ask that do you need any help in the kitchen? So like that, it should be a detailed answer. Anything required in the household to be cleaned up, or any deep cleaning requirements and all. So this is how, I mean, you have to give a very detailed answer. Don't say that I just help my mother, whatever she says, I do it. This is not the answer. The answer should be what I told you, that detailed answer. And I mean, speak well. On an average, your every answer, on an average, every answer should be at least 1 minute or 1 minute plus. Then whom are you very close? Your father or mother, and why? Then how responsible person are you in your family? And these are just examples. There may be many questions, but the art is how you answer them. We all know the answers. These are not very rocket science questions, but you have to answer them in a very lively and very smart manner. Again, from some more questions from family background, you can read. Now see the last question. If your family is totally dependent on you, then how will you, I mean, help or run the family in event you are selected and sent to war? So you just say that, sir, that this kind of situation can arise in any job, and I have a lot of passion for wearing uniform. So once I join the services, so I'll make sure that their every need is taken care of, and they are looked after. And I'll also I'll also train my family, wife and father, and this thing to do things when I am not present. So something of this sort you got to answer, because this is actually a question which is mostly asked. Then interest, your games, sports and all. Now suppose you say hockey. So he'll ask you, okay, who are the famous players of hockey in India? Then who holds the Olympic trophy of hockey? So whatever you say, you should know, I mean, in depth. Don't name 5 games in your PDT or PIQ and SDT. Name 1 or 2 games and you should be knowing about them thoroughly. What is the size of their play fields? What are important rules? Then questions related to friends. Now let's see the last question. How you and your friends do in your free time or holidays. So you just say that during our free time and holidays, after doing our daily course, we meet at one place and then we play a game, and then we go to nearby shops and eat some snacks and all, and then we discuss something about our futuristic plans and some problems at studies and all. Then we also discuss certain issues for doing well in a particular game or sport. Then we also, try to discuss what is new in the market, or what new technology has come in phones and these things, and how to utilize then certain features of these IT gadgets which are not clear to us. We just mutually discuss to find out the solutions for these. So this is how we generally pass the holidays and close days. And we of course go to each other's house and meet their parents and all. So this is how, I mean, you should try to give an answer. Now, those who are working, they might be asked question about their job. So what your co-workers say about you, boss opinion, why you want to leave that job and join army. This is a very tricky question. And you have to say that I am joining army because I have passion and I want to serve the nation. Because I am born and brought up in cantonment, I was very fond of watching the Republic Day parade and beating the retreat, and I'm always attracted towards uniform. And I want to see the country's length and width, and I want to see the mountains, I want to see the jungles, I want to see the snow, I want to see the guns, I want to see the borders, I want to see how difficult the life our soldiers live, and I want to lead them, and I want to do a nation, I want to do pride to the nation, I want to do the pride to my family. So that's why I want to join army. I mean, this is how, I mean, your answer should be. Then your difficulties you're facing in current job and all. So just answer them. Your hobbies, why have you chosen this hobby? Then if you change your hobby from something to something else, then you'll ask you that why have you changed this? Nobody is looking for perfect answers, but they're looking for logical answers. And most important is that how quick you give correct answers, and correct and detailed answer. Now, extracurricular activities. Who motivated you to join NCC? So your answer should be like NCC certificate actually gives us a kind of a very disciplined. It actually give us a insight to a very disciplined life. Then we are trained in camps. We go for firing. We see a lot of adventure, lot of cycle hikes and tourings are organized. Then every Sunday, instead of wasting our time here and there, we go on parade and do some national service, and then we learn a lot. Besides our study, we learn a lot about life. I mean, like how the things can be sorted out in field or while on social front. So like that, you should answer. Then current affairs and general knowledge. So again, I'm telling you that don't read a book which has got 2000 pages. Just read a small book which has got 50 odd pages, and you should be thorough about those 50 pages. And generally, don't read a current affair or a topic which is a 5-year-old. There are many topics and issues which are going on for decades. But what is live at that point of time, like Cauvery water issue? Now this has been going on for decades and decades. But if it is live at that point of time, then you study about it. Otherwise, don't study about it. So that's how you should know. Like now, you are going to have the presidential elections in America. So you should know a little bit about the presidential election. But if the elections are not on, then I mean, no need bugging that up. Then how to differentiate e-paper with a normal paper? So e-papers are basically, they come on the mobile. There's no printing efforts required. There's a lot of economy of efforts. A lot of trees are saved. Then the news which is available is instant. So these are the few features of e-paper. And normal paper, you don't have to wait for internet. It is there in front of you. You can scroll to any page, from to any page. Then the advertisement and other things are not bothering you. And e-paper, actually, it is very difficult to store. But normal paper, you can newspaper, you can keep it, and you can refer it anytime. You can mark it. So that's how you should try to give answer. Now, stress interview. So far you have seen the calm down questions and the rapid fire questions. And now let's see the stress interview. In stress interview, what happens is that he'll ask you something. Okay. Say example, for example, what is the difference in the brake system of bus and train? So you give answer. Okay, in the buses and all, it is based on air and this thing, and in trains it is these are vacuum brakes. Now, so then he asks you, why these two different types of brakes? Why not have all the brakes based on fluid or air? So like that, he'll keep puzzling you. Now he has picked up this question not like that. He has seen this somewhere, and then only he's asking you. So you try to give answer, and wherever you get stuck up, you say that, sir, this much I know, and tell him not in a tense way. Tell him in a friendly way, a smiling way. He said, I'm not a mechanic or something, but I know, this is what it is, and have a general discussion. You can also ask him a question that, sir, this is what is my knowledge, but may I know, what are your views or something. Don't ask him, frequently, but if he is smiling, then you can ask. So he'll keep asking you, and he'll try to irritate you. In a stress question, he's basically trying to check depth of your knowledge, and if you are irritated, or if you are puzzled, or if you are confused, so he'll detect you, okay, this is where this chap has lied. This is a false statement given in his PDT. But even that should not bother you. So long as you, speak well and speak smartly, these questions also get through. Now, sometimes they ask questions related to other branches. Like you have gone for interview of SSB for selection as army officer. He might ask you questions on banking or BSF or something. So again, he has picked up these questions from your background only. When you say that your sister is working in bank or this thing, so that's how he has picked up the questions. He is going to ask you and try to answer. Try to answer them well. This is the most actually difficult part of the interview, stress interview. Then candidate solution type questions. Now these are very nice, easy to answer. Like question could be that how will you how India should curb the terrorism problem. You can speak and speak and speak. You don't have to have any knowledge or thing. You just say that sir, terrorism is a problem which is created by unsatisfied citizens of the country and youths. And firstly, the terrorism approach itself is wrong. Like you can give the example of Gandhi, how he fought peacefully for independence of India. So if somebody is unsatisfied, he should bring out the agenda and put it up to the government or the ruling parties in a peaceful way. So, and have the solution. Taking up arms against a legally elected government is not actually correct, and people should be educated on these issues. Then their problem should be heard. They should be given redressals of the problems, and anyone who is trying to misguide them, they should be told that they are being misguided. So this is how the problem of terrorism should be dealt. And another thing is that often it is said that empty minds are devil's workshop. So we should try to give a maximum job and job opportunities to such people. So like that, you should try to give answer, and you can give, I mean, whatever answer, I mean, because it's a very common topic which we keep hearing every day. Another question could be that India has a big population but not performing well at Olympic Games and all. So what measures you suggest? So you don't have to know that where Olympics were formed and which year they started and all. Give a generic answer, but a detailed answer. Then your technical and applied knowledge questions. So these questions are basically again asked from people who are at borderline. That when the interviewing officer feels that this chap has a material, but he is not able to put it across. So he can ask questions related to your technical field where you must be excelling. So you'll ask questions about your engineering stream. If you play cricket, then he'll ask you that, okay, how will you apply law of this thing, physics to the swinging of balls? Then Pythagoras theorem may be related to table tennis. Now table tennis will be asked only if I mean, you mentioned somewhere. And Pythagoras theorem if you are a science student, because it's a very famous theorem, and every now and then in a day also we must be using this theorem 3 to 4 times. Then another set of questions is organizing ability questions. And this question again you can give a very reasonable and good answer without knowing much. Like they'll ask you, okay, you play so and so game, and you have to take your team from place A to place B for a college tournament. Now how will you organize it? Or there was some industrial visit to nearby industrial area in your city, and suddenly the tour organizer he is sick and is into some health problem. So how will you continue, or how the tour will continue, and what efforts you will make to make sure that tour is successful? So like that, these questions are asked, and you should be, if you're good at speaking and good at thinking, then just rattle out. I mean, you need not have to give a 100% correct solution, but you have to speak continuously and speak well. And last but not the least, the questions which are shown here are only examples, and I try to give some hazy answers. So as candidate, try to prepare detailed answers, then keep practicing such question mentally, that okay, this question what could be the answer, this question what should be the answer, and never give one liner or short answers. Okay sir, I'll do it, or I can do this. I told you that you got to speak at least for 1 minute, and you have to continue speaking till the time interviewer says okay, very good, or okay, nice answer. So this is how you have to tackle the interview. So thank you very much for watching. Jai Hind.